Now, let's meet NARF. Let's dive into the heart of what today's discussion is. The key to Amazon Canada's success and the start of every Amazon international growth, in my opinion, is through NARF. Short for North American Remote Fulfillment Program. It's more than just a program. It's evolved over time. It's been around for a couple of years, but it's really evolved into something where people get insight on what their brand success can be in North America. That includes the Canada market. That includes obviously United States, and then our friends to the south, that is the Mexican marketplace. Plus, Brazil has been added onto this program. Opportunity to get into Mexico and Brazil is something that I won't talk about today, but I want people to really focus on the Canadian marketplace and the comparison between the two. We're not excluding that marketplace because those are not great opportunities. They actually are, but we're going to really focus on the difference between fulfilling by NARF versus Amazon FBA and what that difference looks like and how to make the right business decision for you this summer. So again, in the next few minutes, I'm actually going to explore the core components of NARP, uncover the financial dynamics, meaning what the costs are going to be, what the differences are, and how to make the best business choice for you as a seller. And obviously, potential challenges for both of those ecosystems, but the pros that come with them as well. So let's go ahead and get started. So, the core components of what NARF is: North American Remote Fulfillment Program, things you must have. Before we can dive into how it helps us, we have to understand who this can help. So, who's eligible? The professional seller mandate is a prerequisite for enrollment in NARF. What that means is that you must be a professional seller or a professional seller account. You can't have your individual seller account. You also must have a North American unified account. That's essential to being a part of this program. It allows seamless switching between the US, Canadian, and the Mexican marketplaces. But it's equally important to be aware that product restrictions for those markets also come into effect. So there are no prohibited products, dangerous goods, or restricted items that you can sell in those marketplaces. So product compliance actually has a factor in Canada as well as Mexico if you can sell on either of those markets. So you must go ahead and look at the list that's in Seller Central. And we can also help you out and make sure that your product is compliant here at Frisbi. But a quick check to see if your category or product would be have an issue, you can actually search on those lists in Seller Central, and we will share some of those links as well here in the follow up in our follow up videos as well. So ensuring compliance with those requirements is crucial for a smooth experience across NARF. Now, as we delve deeper into NARF's financial dynamics, you'll discover that this program can be a game changer for people who are a part of it. Recently, people say, how do you become part of NARF? And again, before we go to the financial, if you have all these components in place, how do you sign up? Well, if you sign up as a new seller, as of July in 2022, I think my dates are still correct. July of 2022, if you have products that are eligible, will auto enroll you into this NARF or North remote fulfillment program, as they will like say in Seller Central, and they will actually make it available so that these program and your listings will become available in Mexico as well as Canada. So they auto enroll you. You can obviously opt out. You have to manually go in and do that. But it's a program that Amazon is pushing into new sellers and for more seasoned sellers. You can obviously opt in and out whenever you choose. If you want to not have that option available or sell directly into Canada directly with your products through FBA, that's a separate topic that we'll discuss in a little bit. But if you're just testing the waters to see if there are buyers in those different marketplaces, again, mainly in Canada and Mexico, Brazil was added on later on. But if you're trying to see if your product has legs, has that capability for international expansion, this is a great stepping stone program for that. All right, so let's shine a little spotlight on these fees, if you will. I know I'm kind of covering up the bottom left-hand corner, but for people who are reading through this, this is the financial dynamics of NARF. It's a key factor in obviously expansion. The financials, we want to make sure that our math works in our favor. We want to make sure that with international expansion, you have to understand the costs, the fees, in order to make sure that you're still profitable. So one crucial aspect to be aware of is the remote fulfillment fees when you are part of NARF. These fees are tailored to the demands of cross-border shipping and may differ based upon a specific destination. So it's not going to be the same, with Canada as well as Mexico. You can't count on those same prices, if you will. Be advised again, because of the fees, this is specifically for shipment fees. There are what's called non-peak period and peak period, just like in regular FBA here in the United States. The non-peak period, which is June 30th through when they announced this through October 14th. So we are past that time now. Once you have those fees in the non-peak period, they're quite obviously lower. But once you go into peak period, which is Q4 and busy time going into the beginning half of January of 2024, you will see that uptick in these fees, anywhere from 50 cents to 60 cents on average, depends on the size of your package. But those fees do incur an additional amount because this is a busy time of year. Fulfillment is happening in the United States to a different country. So the length and time of fulfillment is going to be longer. And obviously, the velocity and the volume is quite large. So Amazon has to supplement that with larger fees. Be aware of that, that we are currently, as of this recording and this live webinar, that you're in the peak fulfillment season. Not fun for anyone else, but it's a part of the math that you have to obviously think about when you're selling internationally, just like you are in the United States. In addition to fees, you also have to understand differently. This is not as applicable to US sellers selling in the United States, but it might be for international sellers selling in the United States. You have to understand that there are different tools to adjust prices based upon the exchange rates that Amazon will sell your product in. Obviously, a customer, when they buy a product in Mexico, they're buying the Mexican peso, they're not buying the US dollar. Your product, with the help of Amazon's tools, can actually auto price depending on the fees, the demand, what cost of goods that you're inputting into Seller Central. You can actually have it fluctuate depending on all those additional fees that might not be applicable to the United States, or if there are higher fulfillment fees like with NARF, you can build that into your pricing strategy. So same thing with Canada, you're getting Canadian dollar. You have to have that exchanged back to your US bank account. That can be done with Amazon's tools with the currency converter system, or your own international currency exchange ecosystem, whether it be with tools like Payoneer, Air Wallets, Ping Pong Payments, any of those kind of tools that are Seller Central and Amazon verified. You can use those tools to have those currencies exchanged at those rates. So be aware that you will be accepting international currency on top of all these additional fees. So making sure that your currency is working for you instead of against you as well. So just periodically trying to reprice and make sure that you're not losing money because of that exchange. And then finally, the remote fulfillment fees are aligned with the demands of cross-border shipping. It's important to note that during obviously the upcoming peak fulfillment period, there's adjustments you just have to be aware of. So anytime Amazon announces these peak surcharges or demands the price is higher, or if the fulfillment fees are higher, whatever that is, you have to be aware of those consistently. So not setting this and forgetting, but just be consistently aware of these prices as they fluctuate throughout the year with demand. But so whether you're expanding to Canada, or if you want to in the future think about Mexico, you have to have those clear understandings of those fees, referral fees, everything that's built in Seller Central. You have to have those in mind when making the smart business decision to enter those markets, especially when it comes to pricing your product on your page. Same thing with the United States, same thing with any marketplace that we would advise you to enter or help you enter. Here at Frisbi, we want to make sure that you're profitable from the get-go, and helping that growth factor not be a hindrance, but be a benefit to you. And again, going off of the currency dynamics of profitable pricing, when you expand your business to Canada, you must stay on top of those currency dynamics. So just for profitability purposes, I'm going to go back real quick. When I did the research and when I was polling for Canada for CAD, the currency exchange to kind of be, and we have this later in the webinar, your currency exchange currently is $1 US equals $1.34 Canadian. So you have to understand that with the dynamics, it directly influences how you price your products in the Canadian marketplace. So being able to understand how you're pricing it in Canada versus just the United States, or if they're buying your product in the United States and getting it fulfilled to somewhere at their home in Canada, those different dynamics are going to affect you and your bottom line ultimately when you become a part of NARF.